Disney World.
We're going to tell you a bedtime story about that. Good night, JK.
We're going to tell you a bedtime story first. I'm Jill.
And I'm Kara.
And you're watching Goodnight, JK.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone who has liked us on Facebook and subscribed to us on YouTube and then followed us on Twitter, Instagram, all that good jazz.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep doing it. Share us around, share us with your friends.
Yeah.
Share us with anyone, I don't care.
Even if they're not your friends.
Yeah,
as we
some
always
person
say.
on the street. Don't matter.
Yeah, we don't care. Today, we're going to talk about Disney World.
Yeah, even though we've kind of already done some Disney stuff,
we talked like
you can always do Disney stuff.
Yeah, you can. A couple episodes back we mentioned we wanted to do a Disney World episode, and today just seemed like the day.
And I had the best shirt. Like, I would definitely wear this Disney World shirt.
I was wearing a Disneyland sweatshirt before.
Yeah.
But
we were trying to think about what to talk about, and I was like, you're wearing a Disneyland sweatshirt. We're talking about Disney World. So,
we figured we'd tell you about some of our experiences at Disney World, and then also give you some of our tips, because Kara's only been to Disney World, what, 4 times?
3 times. Technically 4, but I don't remember the first one.
And then I've been to Disney World probably about 20 times. So we figured we'd give you some tips.
Yeah,
we can help.
She knows her way around Disney World.
I do. But first of all, Kara's first time going to Disney World, she was, what were you, 3 years old or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And
before I could remember.
The night they were going to drive, her and her dad and our aunt.
Yeah, my aunt, my uncle, dad, sister, me. Yeah. All in one little car.
They were going to drive through the night, but before that, like, our parents and our grandparents were all at this thing at our church, and our grandma lived across the street from the church, and our great-grandma also lived across the street from the church.
They had the huge, like, 2-family
the duplex thing. And so, I was babysitting Kara and her sister, and I think my brother was helping, too, because we were not allowed to go. It was
an adult thing.
Adult thing, yeah. Horse races or something. So, anyways, I was babysitting them, and Kara and her sister got really, really, really sick. And I was probably like 11, so I had no idea what I was doing. And so I was like taking their temperature and trying to figure out what to do with that, because they had temperatures over 100. And so I'm like, okay, I just need to, like, you know, calm them down. They're all upset because they don't feel good. So I'm like, let's turn on the TV. Well, my grandma at the time has 5 channels only because she doesn't have cable. No, we were at my great-grandma's house upstairs. Yeah. She only has 5 channels. And so I'm like, all right, what do we watch? There's nothing on. It's like Saturday night. There's nothing for kids on a Saturday night, you know? And so I'm paging through, and I find the auction on PBS. Our local PBS station has an auction to, like, fundraise for it every year. The most boring thing, but we were watching it because there was nothing else. And so we got to a certain point where I thought, gosh, this is really boring. Let's just check again and see if there's anything else. And I flipped the channel, and it's like a shark eating a person. It was Jaws. And we're like, ah! We changed the channel really fast. And so I don't know what to do. They're still all upset because they don't feel good. And then I decide I'm going to try to help them not feel so hot. And so I go to my great-grandma's freezer, and I'm trying to find something. Like, I don't want to just put ice on them because it'll make them all wet, but I find these individually wrapped frozen hot dogs, and I put them on their heads.
You know, I never even heard of an individually frozen wrapped hot dog. No. Until I was told the story as I got a little older.
Yeah, because they were too young to remember that. So anyways, then they went to Disney World and had a good time. Kara maybe got some blisters on her feet because she was wearing sandals.
I was wearing, like, these plastic 90s sandals that were, like, kind of see-through but had, like, sparkles in them and stuff, and the bottoms were see-through. And I just had blisters all over my feet, but then ice cream cured it, so it was fine.
Yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, at Minnie's house.
Okay, so we're going to talk about especially the time that Kara and I went to Disney World together.
That was a good time.
Yeah, when Kara and Kristen, her sister, graduated from high school, I took them as a graduation present, and we all went together. And this brings me to why we're eating this carrot. Because our first tip for you about Disney World is, if you are going to Disney World on a budget, on a tight budget.
Very tight.
You don't want to be eating in the parks all the time because it's so expensive. So what we did was we packed a suitcase entirely full of food.
Yeah. And again, to be on a budget, we never brought like a whole a check bag. We only each brought our own carry-on bags. We put like all of the clothes in our backpacks and then stuffed the carry-ons with food.
So we brought like, you know, almonds. You can bring like bagels, different things that aren't gonna like get destroyed.
And we brought like bread and like deli meat stuff.
Deli meat, that doesn't go very far, but
yeah.
for a little while. But we brought these carrots, and so this one time we were waiting in line to go to the tiki room, and all of a sudden I just pull out of the backpack this giant full-size carrot, and I'm just eating it, because it's outside. Like, it's okay. You can eat there. I wasn't breaking the rules. But I was eating this stupid carrot at Disney World. So dumb.
Yeah. People were probably like, where can I get one?
Of course, that's what they're thinking.
Of course, yeah.
So anyways, I'm going to put this aside for now. Now that you know its purpose. Finish that later. I love carrots. We're going to tell you about Hollywood Studios first. Yeah. So feel free, as you're watching this, like, comment what you like about these parks and your different tips or whatever. Because we went to Hollywood Studios first, and when we went, we only went to 2 parks. I've been to them all, but I'd say Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom are, like, the 2. If you like rides. Because even though Epcot and Animal Kingdom are cool, like, they don't have the same amount of rides.
Yeah.
And Hollywood Studios has always been one of my favorites because it has that old school, like, old Hollywood 1940s really cool. kind of feel to it, and I love it. So, we got FastPasses because we were staying on Disney property, so we got to get FastPasses early for the Toy Story ride because that line is always super long. And when we got to the park, we just booked it straight back to Rock and Roller Coaster because we could not get a Fast Pass for both at once.
Yeah.
So we went on Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was great. It's one of the best rides there.
Yeah, and I got a very swell picture on that ride. My sister, she's like not afraid of rides, but for some reason, whenever they take those pictures, she just has like the best look on her face. Like, she doesn't know the camera's there. It's just like, her facial expressions are great.
So yeah, we gotta talk to her. If it's okay to show the picture of it, here it is. And if not, we're just telling you it was great. So yeah. Also great rides at Hollywood Studios. Tower of Terror.
That's my favorite.
Amazing. If you like that whole thing that Disney does where you kind of feel like you're in a movie almost, where they're kind of like putting you in a whole new setting. Even waiting in line for the Tower of Terror is really cool. It's like that old abandoned hotel with all the cobwebs and everything. I just think it's so cool. And the movie that they made about it in like the late 90s, I think, is awesome. So that's really awesome. Also, the Star Wars ride is great.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to have new Star Wars rides coming up with the new expansion, which is awesome. But tips for the Star Wars ride.
Yes. You have to become friends with the workers. Because on the ride, you have the chance, like, out of the people in it, to be the rebel spy that they choose.
And your picture goes up on the screen.
Yeah. And I thought that it was, like, randomly chosen, like, by seat or something. But no. The workers choose who they think looks like the best rebel spy. And, like, if you're making, like, a funny expression on your face, like, when you first get on the ride and stuff, like, you'll probably get picked.
Yeah, and so also, like, we went at the end of the night, so there weren't a lot of people there. So we kind of
kept, like 30 times in a row.
We went on it a bunch of times, and we became friends with the guy who was running it. And so then he
kept, like, picking me and my sister.
Yeah, picking them to be the rebel spy. So, yeah, be nice to the workers. You can't do that on all the rides, because sometimes they have to be in character. Like on Tower of Terror, they have to be, like, creepy. Yeah. But something like the Star Wars ride, becoming friends with them can pay off. If you like goofy stuff like that, like we do. Okay, another great thing at Hollywood Studios, the Indiana Jones show.
Yeah, so we made sure to get there early because we could get, like, good seats and, like, we could volunteer to be in the show.
Because the audience can be in the show, for those of you who don't know about it.
And I got picked to be in the show. Because they got up and pointed at me and were yelling really loud and made me be in it.
Yeah, you wanted to also be in it, too.
Sort of, but I also don't like being in front of people a lot.
Well,
this is different. Like, I'm not facing people. I'm looking at a camera.
Well, it was really good. And so I really wanted her to be in because also I had been thinking of the Full House episode where they go to Disney World and then DJ keeps seeing Steve everywhere. Yeah. And then Steve comes. Anyways, the Indiana Jones show is one of the times where she's like, Steve! But it's not really Steve. Yeah. It's the guy playing Indiana Jones. Anyways, so Kara went. And so Kristen and I were having a great time watching her. We were filming her a little bit. And there's one part where, and she was doing what they're supposed to do, like, they got these costumes and...
Yeah, and they tell you, like, they want to see if you're, like, a good actor, and they'll tell you stuff to do, and, like, you have to act it out.
Yeah. And so there was one part where the guy in charge goes, okay, now act like you're walking on hot coals. And Kara starts going like this. And Kristen and I are like, what the heck is she doing? You're acting like a tool. Stop trying to be like some weirdo up there and just do what he's asking. Like, so much for stage fright. Yeah, right. Okay, so we're just like thinking, Kara, you're being really weird right now. Well,
yeah, so on my end, it was like really hard to hear what they're saying up there because the speakers face the audience, but you're like on the dirt stage thing. And so when I got back to the audience, like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I was with Jill and my sister, and they were like, just looking at me like I was the dumbest person in the world. And I was like, what? And they're like, what were you doing at that one part? I was like, what? He said pretend like you're on a horse.
So she's not being a
and
tool.
yeah, they just like looked at each other and started laughing so hard. They're like, no, he said to pretend you're on hot coals. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I am so embarrassed at that point. I want to go home. Like, I don't want to see anyone else there ever again.
But it was great. Now we have that great memory for all of us.
So embarrassing.
So speaking of eating at Hollywood Studios, there are 2 restaurants that I think are the best, and they're the most fun. The first one is one that I took Kara and her sister to, and it's the 50s Diner. I don't remember the exact name of it, but if you look it up, it's the 50s Diner.
Yeah.
And you go in and sit at like a little table that is in its own kind of kitchen area, and it's like you're in a 1950s TV show, like a Leave It to Beaver or something. And then the waiters and waitresses will pretend like they're like your mom or your uncle or like just goofy things, and they'll yell at you if like your elbows are on the table,
or if like you're not sitting up straight.
Yeah, like I'm not right now.
I know, me too.
Bad posture. Or you're not eating your vegetables or something, and it's just really goofy and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I really like is the Sci-Fi dinner theater, I think it's called.
I've never been to that one.
But you go inside, but it looks like you're outside at a drive-in movie theater. And all the tables are in these little cars, and they show on the big screen previews from corny, like, 1950s, really bad sci-fi movies. And it's really fun. So those are my suggestions. Also, don't miss the Great Movie Ride. Classic.
Yeah, that one's fun.
And, yeah, Hollywood Studios is just awesome.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on that?
Not really. Just get in, go straight to Rock and Roller Coaster. Yeah. And then the rest of the day's a breeze.
Yeah. Yeah. The Muppet Show, also really good.
Love that was really funny.
Yeah, love the Muppet Show. But, yeah. So, we, just like we did in a couple episodes ago, we stocked our lullaby board with some Disney songs. So, we're gonna roll.
Yeah, we'll pull that out. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you like it.
Yeah.
Share it on social media. Subscribe. Alright, let's give her a roll. 12. Okay.
Are you doing okay?
No. Yes, one of my favorites of all time. Make a Man Out of You.
Yes,
from Mulan.
We were just talking about this on the Disney episode.
Because me and my sister made that music video to this song back when I was like 8. Really? Very embarrassing, but it's on YouTube. Check it out. Maybe I'll put a link in the description.
I don't know if your sister wants that.
She put it on YouTube.
That's
true. Her fault. It's on her channel.
We'll have to ask her about that one. Anyways. Okay. Just so you know, this is only part 1 of our Disney episode.
Yeah.
So,
because not only did we go to Hollywood Studios, we went somewhere
Magic
else
Kingdom.
too. Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I spoiled it.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. That's part 2. So tune in for part 2.
Yeah. If you want some tips on Magic Kingdom, how to get around, what to do.
Yeah. And you just want to share what you like about it, because talking about Disney World is just really fun.
My favorite.
Okay. Okay. Go.
I missed.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they send me daughters when I asked for sons? You're the saddest bunch I ever met, but you can bet before we're through, Mr. I'll make a man out of you. Oh, hold on, I gotta scroll down. I'm never gonna catch my breath.
Say goodbye to those who knew me.
Boys I fooled in school for cutting gym.
This guy's got scared to death.
Hope he doesn't see right through me.
Now I really wish that I knew how to swim.
Be a man. Swim past the coursing river.
Be a man.
With all the force of the great typhoon.
Be a man.
With all the strength of raging fire. Mysterious mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Wah! Yeah. The end.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.
See you next time.
On part 2.